Chegou? Hey, Debbie, there's no code. Ah, there he is. Desmuta o microfone dele, por favor. Hello, Opie. Welcome. You just need to click on your microphone so we can hear you, and also on your camera so we can see you as well.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I can't see you. Can everybody see Opie? Ah, fantástico. Bom, boa noite, gente. Esse aqui é mais um Fica em Casa, um Stage Lab. É uma série de lives que a gente está fazendo durante esse momento que todo mundo tem que ficar obrigatoriamente online. E hoje a gente recebe aqui o Opie, que é uma referência no show business internacional, e a Debbie Taylor, que também é Production Coordinator e é uma referência internacional. Lembrando que todas as lives aqui da Stage Lab viram podcast, você pode ouvir em todas as plataformas. Essa vai demorar um pouquinho de tempo para subir, porque nós não vamos ter tradução aqui enquanto a gente está conversando, porque senão a conversa não flui, mas depois a gente vai fazer uma edição com tradução para português consecutiva, tá bom? Então, muito obrigada pela presença, e agora a gente muda de língua. Debbie, Opie, thank you for coming.
Thank you for patience of
That's okay. It happened. So, I would like you to introduce yourselves and tell a bit about your professional story.
Ladies first.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you. There she goes.
Hi, my name's Debbie Taylor, and I've been a production coordinator now for about 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. I started in Australia on the festival circuit, worked my way up there, and then got my big break to do an international tour, which is where I met Opie, and we've been working together ever since.
And you've got an award for a production award, haven't you?
I do. There are. I believe there is only one award out there for the role of production assistant stroke coordinator. And I have been the lucky recipient of that a number of times. Yeah.
That's great.
Well deserved.
Well
That's
deserved. What he says.
Yeah. My name is Dale Opie Schurseth. I'm a production manager. I've been touring for 40 years and a production manager since 1988. My background starts from backline to everything in between being a production manager. So I've played every role that I could get away with. But I've enjoyed being a production manager and being in charge and taking the responsibility and teaching along the way as we grow. So right now we're not touring with anybody. So we're all at home and taking this opportunity.
Yeah. You've been in On Stage Lab speaking to our students and community in 2016, right?
Yep, Debbie and I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you've been in Brazil for a while already. What was your first time, and what have you seen changing through the years? This is a question for both of you.
My first time was Rock in Rio with Guns N' Roses, with the original format back in the day. Was that 90 or 91? I can't remember. And that was when Jerry Stickles ran it and his team of people. That was my first time down, and which was an honor to work with Jerry. God rest his soul. And a legend of the South American touring and world back in the day. And up till he's, that was my first time. And what's improved is as everything in our industry, everybody's learning and grasping of what's going on and taking what they learned and using it as we toured. And technology has, of course, become our best friend because of time zones and not having to worry about language barriers as much, because you can send an email and it will translate, and everybody's education in the industry is much better and familiar to things and how people work and move forward. So that's my feeling on it. And working with Guns N' Roses for all those years, they toured South America a lot, and then after that was the Stones. I've toured with Ozzy and Sabbath, and AC/DC has come down a couple times, and yeah, it's I enjoy coming. We were on our way. We were just finished our show in Mexico, and we were on our way.
Okay.
I think the biggest change for me has been it's been more of a personal change. As we've been coming down to Brazil more often, our relationships with the people that we work with have become a lot stronger. We're very lucky to work with the same people regularly. And as we're all very aware, the relationships that you build in this industry really allow you to achieve your best work. You get to know how they work, they get to know how you work. It's always like coming back to a big family.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Good.
We always know that we're very, very well taken care of in regard to our needs and requirements. In Sao Paulo.
Last time you came was with Guns N' Roses, right? In 18th. Is it right?
I personally had a quick trip last year with BTS.
Oh, you were here for BTS. I didn't have a chance.
Very short in and out with those guys, but yeah, the time before that was with Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, that's you. That's for you too, right, Opie?
Yeah. Yes. Yep. I believe it was.
Okay.
I don't think I was down in 18. I don't think I made that trip.
You left us.
I left them. I abandoned them. Yes. But in good hands. I didn't worry. You know, we were all looking forward coming this time. I mean, again, like
for Lollapalooza.
Yeah, and for the whole run, we had mini shows in a few places we've never been in the whole region of South America and we were looking forward to it. It's I always enjoy coming down. It's something I look forward to. It's part of the schedule, you know, that you like, and we were saddened by that.
Yeah, all of a sudden everything like disappeared. It's like not even like a hurricane. It's just something that just finished everything in 1 second. That's funny.
Yeah.
How are you psychologically handling this? Because I mean, production people are kind of control freak. How are you guys handling this completely out of your control situation?
Dale, I'll let you go first.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying being home.
Elders first.
I'm enjoying being home. I'm enjoying the time home. I've never had to not chase work. I've never had that, you know, come into my life. I mean, I've been home 11 weeks without having to I don't have to answer to anybody. I mean, for me, it's great. I know a lot of people are looking forward for work. You know, it will come back, but I'm looking, you know, we're looking forward to going back to work when it all comes back, but we want it to be back in the right way that, you know, that it's safe for everybody.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, though, that people are dealing with it in very different ways, but looking for the bright side in it, I think is a really big part of this and of being able to get through. We're all very proactive people. We all like to be very busy and we all like to be moving forward and taking control. And for the first time, I think in any of our lives, we've suddenly been put on hold and have been told that that's actually not possible. I think for a lot of people like myself, I spent the first couple of weeks trying every possible angle I could think of to find some way to either work or entertain myself or keep myself busy. And then there was this realization day where, exactly what Dale's saying, you just need to sit back and actually enjoy it and do all the things that you haven't really had a chance to do. Find something else to concentrate on.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, in reality, this kind of, to sum it up, in reality, like Debbie and I are saying, the first few weeks, yeah, there was like this handful of stuff you're trying to figure out what's going on. But then once you come to realization, it's not just you. You weren't told you're not working anymore, the job's over, the tour's canceled, or what. However, it's just done. And coming to the reality of it, you now have to cope with it a different way. It's so taking the time and enjoying the time and getting things done for yourself. You need to take advantage of that, because once it's all, the way I think and I feel things may come about is once it comes that we all can go back to work, we're all going to go back to work, and it's all going to be, the barn door is going to open and the cows are going to come out.
How do you think it's going to be when everything gets to normal? How will normal be?
It's all going to, we'll have to follow somebody, in the sense of, on our end, we're going to have to follow what sports do. We usually follow what the NFL do. Let's say, talking of 9/11, they implement, they have one of the best guidelines for security for us to follow in all their stadiums. And it's going to become what our governments are suggesting, and what people, how they're going to look at it, in the leadership of our, who's booking the shows, our governments, all of that. I mean, so normal, I don't know yet. The house isn't finished burning down. So
Yeah.
it's but I mean, I don't know what it's going to look like. Honestly, I don't, because every day there's a change of what goes on, and Debbie can sum up bits of that, because we talk about it all the time.
We do talk about it all the time. I think we're doing what everybody else in the industry is trying to do, in keeping abreast of everything that's happening worldwide, not just in regard to our industry, but how the situation is changing, but also with a very big proviso that it can change any day, and it is changing every single day. And really, we're out of control in this facet too. Like we aren't going to be the people who say when we're going to go. We're going to get the word from somebody else that we're ready to go, and then we're just going to have to adapt and make it work as safely and as effectively as possible.
Yeah. And how are your colleagues handling this? I mean, your staff.
We both keep in touch with them as much as we can. Everybody's planned for something. I mean, I've been, as I preach to the guys, we plan for this moment, because one day you're not going to work. Our industry cuts off anyhow. So a lot of our guys have saved, and have means of taking care of it, but they're coping it like we are. I mean, there are days I go into a black hole, and it bums me out that we're done working and what's going to happen and what's going to go on. I'm not, Superman with this. We're all human beings. So in reality, there are moments where you go, man, am I ever going to work again? But no, and then it comes back. It's
I think you're completely right. I think nobody's supposed to know how to deal with this. Like nobody is.
Yeah. Nobody was expecting. There's no planning that could plan something.
And there's no training for this. There's no kind of like, well, when the pandemic hits, we're going to do A, B, C, D. So I think we're all taking this individually. But I think it's keeping in touch with people as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
In regard to just checking how people are doing. Again, we know a lot of our guys very, very well. So know who's coping better than some others, who to reach out to. But I think it is, as Opie was saying, he's not Superman in this either. I think there's a lot of people who are very strong generally, and you assume that they don't need checking in on. But I think everybody at this time just needs a phone call every once in a while.
Yeah.
Just to check on them.
Yeah. I'm doing this with family and colleagues, like, hey, how's it going?
I have never been so social, I have to say.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
When I come back from tour, I'm usually a massive introvert. And all of a sudden, I have more social engagements via Zoom than I've had in years.
Yeah, that's a funny time. I mean, you are isolated because you're taking care of people, and it's so different.
And that's a really good way of describing it.
It's an opposite
is
game.
different.
Yeah,
everything is different.
Yeah. Do you guys see? I always think that entertainment and touring people, they are problem solvers. Do you think we're gonna find like creative solutions for coming on the way back?
Yeah, I think there's already things in the motion of coming back. People thinking of things and being innovated, but it all depends on what our guidelines are. The problem with our job, no one can be 6 feet social distancing. You know, we travel together, we move together, we go to the hotel, we move from the hotel together, we get to the venue together, we work together, we're in confined areas. So there are things that are going to be, you know, that part's going to be a little rough, where, you know, how are you going to put something together when it takes 6 people to put something together, you know, in a confined area. So this is going to have to be consideration put up. Hopefully, you know, if it means people wearing masks, great. Face shields, great. There's ways of protection, and hopefully, you know, like Debbie and I have talked about, hopefully there's setups where there's proper sanitation for people to wipe their hands and wash their hands and clean themselves, and you know, where we're going to be relying on our promoters to handle, you know, and to spend the money. That's what's going to.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we are a very a problem-solving bunch and very proactive, but I think the problems that we're going to have to solve are more along the lines of taking government control, working out what the government are going to allow us to do, tours being booked, and then us working out how we can actually make those work. And that's what we do. I think that's our speciality of being adaptable.
Make it work.
And being adaptable.
Yeah, indeed.
And also working with all of those stakeholders involved. So as Opie was saying, some of it is going to come down to money. So it's being involved from the start with the promoters, with the booking agents, with our vendors, to work out how we can do this as cost effectively and efficiently as possible. Because at some point, it's going to roll again, and people are going to need to make money from this as well.
Yes. That will be, do you think virtual reality will be something in a daily basis for general shows?
No.
No? Don't you think there will be like hybrid concerts, like concerts where people will be live and will be online for some other bunch of people?
I'm not saying they're not going to happen. I'm just saying live entertainment will hold its ground, like Broadway will hold its ground. There'll be entertainment. See, the whole thing also is just live entertainment when it's a big spectrum of things. We're talking Broadway, all those things that, you know, kids shows and all of that are all still that interaction that people are going to want. I mean, they're just going to want. It's no different than them interacting with themselves or, you know, putting groups of people together. You go to, you know, talk about a Lollapalooza show. Who's going to want to be boxed up in 6 people in a square? At the end of the day, you can put them there, but are they going to spread out? It's.
I think maybe not so much with the virtual reality, but I think there'd been movements towards, especially in regard to Broadway and ballet and theatre, moves to broadcast performance. a lot before this had happened. So doing cinema runs of operas or Broadway performances. So actually spreading out to a much wider audience. I can certainly see that happening more. But I also think OP is completely right in that there is going to be a market for live entertainment. That's never going to go away. We just need to work out when it's going to be and how we're going to do it.
Yeah. And what will bands, what do you think that bands used to do that they're not doing any longer?
Meet and greets.
Oh.
Yeah.
But,
Fans
you know,
will cry.
you know, bands may just come in for the shows and get out. I think there'll be a thinning out of who can be around them when they arrive. It could be to the point where everybody that doesn't need to be there can't be there, you know, just to keep it thinned out of people count of the large amounts of groups of people. Now, these are only my thoughts of what I've seen, thinking of and going, okay, what needs to be pushed back? I mean, the less people around, the less germs are around, right? In any situation, even if it's not just this, but you're going to come in, you know, a band's going to show up, do their thing, photo ops, take them out, you know, where they're just not going to happen. But again, that's up to the artists themselves too. Everybody's got their own opinion of how that artist wants to react with his people. There are people that use it to thrive off. It's a big money piece, and some could care less. You know, some don't even want it. It may take away all that. You know,
I think we'll also see a change in the type of show that's put on, or at least in the first wave of shows that go out. Once we are able to go out safely, I think we'll see a return to fewer bells and whistles. I think we'll see a more streamlined, a lot more fewer trucks, a lot less gags,
less people too. You think?
Yes.
You think crew will be?
Yeah.
Like,
I think bands will need to make a decision about how they want to tour. Do they want to make more money, or are they still interested in their creative vision? What do they want to get out of it? Is it maximizing their profits and just getting out and playing to people? Or will they hold off till they can actually put the tour out that they want to put out?
Yeah. I have a last question, then I'll read people question here. Ô, gente, quem quiser fazer em português também, eu posso traduzir aqui, não tem problema. I spoke this to Opie before. Do you think we could make an universal protocol after the pandemic thing?
You can only wish. You can only wish. You know, you can only wish. I mean, that's what I could say to that. You can only wish that. I mean, on our end, on an industry end, yes, but when it comes to the government end, no. It's no different than going to the airport and walking through one TSA in one country to the next.
I have to say, I enjoy that as well, though. I like the challenge of touring in different places and the relationship that fosters with different people and the full variety that you get. I think nobody wants to do a cookie cutter role where they tour the same way absolutely everywhere they go to. Having the variety and the challenges and the pressure on you to be able to deliver that actually makes your job a lot more interesting.
Yes, indeed. That's why this is something that makes me curious about it, because we have such a different thing and it's so universal somehow. Then maybe we should work on a universal protocol. As some things, even on concerts, are kind of universal.
Absolutely.
I mean, some policies, some protocols, we already have them. I mean, in each place, it will be like on their way, but somehow it is the same protocol. Well, Let's see. Carolina Ribeiro. Oh, she asked the name of the award you won.
Yes. So it used to be the TourLink Top Dog Award. Now the event is called the Live Production Summit, and they are called Pinnacle Awards.
Good. Elena Martins is asking, what do you both think will be the biggest change on the dynamics of touring around the world?
So for me, we've talked about this quite often, is the fact that what's not really being discussed at the moment is how we are going to work, how the people backstage and crew are going to work in regard to how we travel, how we keep our guys safe, when interaction is inevitable. There's no way that we can tour in solitary confinement. That's just not going to work. So I think the biggest change for me personally, will be the travel element and how we move people around. And whether that then has a knock-on effect of whether we tour in smaller areas or more regional areas, or we do shorter bursts of touring and then send everybody home, then bring them back out again. I think for me, that's going to be the biggest change.
That's great. Do you want to say anything, Opie?
No, that's basically what I've been thinking from, and when you say even the movements we're talking, you have to move the person from one city to another, and then from the hotel to the venue, and then from the venue to that, and there's different types of travel, which will be, how are we going to do this? What is going to be the plan? Sometimes we fly, sometimes we ride on buses, sometimes we ride in, and then we ride in vans. Now, what are the protocols going to be, and who's going to be the sticklers on who's not going to ride in large groups of people? It's going to be and it's not just going to be what we think. It's there's going to be a whole lot of other opinions around us.
And you're right. There will be a lot of other opinions. We're going to have to work very closely with management in regard to liability and insurance. Artists sometimes want to say in that too, and how we're looked after and how we take care of their guys as well as ours. Mm-hmm. We're also going to have to, not only do we have to take the lead of sports, but the travel industry are putting into place their own protocols. Venues are going to start putting into place their own protocols. There's going to be a lot of working with various different governing bodies in order to be able to get this up and running safely.
Luana Costa. Oh, yeah.
No, we're hoping all, like Debbie's mentioned, the venues, at least in each continent, we're hoping that they're all talking of some sort, that there is some communication. So protocol for each venue is the same, and how we have to work it out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just come into when we do the gig, it's what do the guys do on their days off? Where do they wander off to?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think venues are talking.
Yeah.
Were you aware of this concert that already happened there? A concert for 250 people in a venue for 1,000.
Yeah.
How do you think? What do you think about it?
Great.
Do you think it's great?
Well, it's great that someone's doing something. There's things with the the drive-in movie theater is happening. There's little things happening.
Yeah, I think driving the drive-through thing, the driving thing, it's going to be a reality.
I think that there are going to be different ideas and different concepts, whether it's the socially distanced concert or moving more shows outdoors, where it's safer, but then harder to socially distance. Yeah. I think people will come up with ideas and there will be things that happen, but I think we're all pushing towards, at some point, getting back to a new normal of shows the way that we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of pushing for next year is where everything's going into next year, so that they can align themselves with what they really need to do.
Yeah.
And financially to start up something new, is it worth it? Is it going to be a break even, or is it going to be, till someone comes up with a plan, we're in a bit of an idle spot.
Well, it's shifting sand. All the ideas that everybody's coming up with, like, how long is this going to last? Will it end? Will there be a vaccine? At the moment, nobody has any idea at all. So it's very hard to try and plan for moving forward.
Yes, it is. Anyone here that wants to make a question through audio or video? Alguém aqui quer fazer pergunta de áudio ou vídeo? Não?
Não.
Ok. Deixa eu ver se tem mais alguma pergunta. Do you think internet lives during the pandemic are working indirectly as marketing tools and will make people want to attend more concerts? That's a good one.
I'm sorry, can you read the question again?
Do you think all these internet lives, online shows happening during the pandemic, will it work as a marketing and make people want to attend more concerts?
I think there's a very, very big difference between a live performance on a screen and a live performance in real life. I don't think one is better than the other, but I think they both feed each other. I think being able to watch something on the screen where you can't do anything else at the moment is a wonderful thing, because it is entertainment and it's reliving gigs that you've been to before and it's seeing your favorite bands play. But I think, as we know, there is nothing quite like a live show.
Yeah.
I think the industry will come back stronger than ever before. I think there'll be a massive desire to be able to partake in the things that we're not able to at the moment. But yes, I think it's wonderful that we can watch performances online, and I think it will drive people to shows in the end.
What do you think, Opie?
No, what you said at the end is absolutely correct. It's great that the guys, the entertainers, all the musicians are doing what they're doing. It's a great thing. That is fantastic.
I think we forget that we miss load-ins and load-outs. I miss it terribly, but our artists miss performing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's art to them. You have to remember, they're artists. They have a creativity that doesn't stop, and when sitting around, they want to put something out, in which it's good with the internet that it does help. It just keeps them busy, and it actually entertains people too, and running old shows and stuff like that. It's all good, and even if it's not promoting, it's just keeping everybody in sync.
How do you guys think, this is from Luana Costa, how do you guys think festivals will be after this period?
Yes, the festival. It's exactly as I was saying before. It's really hard with festivals because they are outdoors, so it is safer. But it's just very, very hard to control a crowd at a festival.
Yeah.
And it's going to depend a lot on the government input on their requirements for shows. Are they going to limit the amount of people and the space that they can be in?
And there we'll have the money challenge.
Yes,
if we don't
absolutely.
have a sold out concert.
I think it'll also depend on how people feel about this as well. Once we get back out to a new normal, how people feel about being close to each other. I don't know what the knock-on effect in this people's psyche is going to be after this. I would tend to think that people will just be desperate to get out and to be around people and to have human interaction and human contact. But I think there are going to be some people that are going to be affected for quite a time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think young people will be crazy crazy to go out. Maybe for older people concerts, it will take more time. Who do you think will start first? I mean, on the way back.
The eternal question. This changes on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
I
we are just exercising future. Like, it's like
I can't say that one. I can't.
I know I'm like a lot of other people that I have to monitor how much social media I read at the moment and how much news and content I take in, because it changes. What you read in the morning to what you read in the evening can change so drastically. And that's on a global scale. In the morning, we're doing really well. By the afternoon, we're not doing so great, but Italy are better. Australia are doing wonderfully. It's a guessing game.
it is.
Yeah.
There's another one from Bruna Matos. Do you want to say anything else?
No. You wake up in the morning and you think it's doing good, great, and you're going to go on the road. And in the evening, no.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's our new normal.
Yes.
Not to know anything.
Yeah.
Well, Bruna Mato, especially here in South America, the costs to produce concerts are really high. Do you guys think the most expensive parts of the bid sheet will be able to make it work with less money? Because the sanitary issue is the most urgent right now, but that definitely money is going to be one of them after it all.
Yes. Is that a yes or no question?
I think we're just going to have to look at the type of shows that go out. I think it might be a while before we see the giant size, long running, huge tour. I think we will ramp up to that point, because I think, again, at some point people are going to, depending on how it works, if we have to socially distance at shows, then you need to drop your costs, because you're not going to make as much money. And I think those very, very smart people out there already making all of those break-even points and doing all of those calculations and working it all out.
Yeah, and there will be less money. I think people in general will have less money. I think all the costs will have to go down. There's no question about it.
I think so. I think there is always a place for entertainment, and I think people always find money for entertainment.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that bands want to be seen as the one who are gouging their audience.
Yeah. Like
money in times of in struggling times, in times of strife.
Yeah.
I think we'll see artists questioning what they want to get out of a tour, whether they just want to get back on the road, whether they want to give something back to their fans, or again, if they want to pursue their creative vision, then they might be looking for some kind of video over gags, things that can travel lighter. I think people are just going to have to be smarter.
Yeah, I think so. There will be a smarter way to tour, because there will be less money on everybody's table. Yeah. I think everything will be again. We'll go back again to the sorting problem thing. We'll have to sort this problem out somehow.
I think if the sanitation is the biggest problem that we actually have to deal with, in regard to hand cleaning stations and better cleanliness, then I think we're all in for a treat, because I think sometimes that really does fall down at shows.
Yeah, extremely.
Especially at a festival.
Yes.
Indeed.
Where everything, yes.
So that's a personal question from Vanessa. Are you personally watching live concerts online?
I personally am not. I
No.
am not ready to see live music and be reminded of what I'm missing.
Roadies don't like concerts.
No.
Well, I've been more watching documentaries of people that I've always followed.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, I'm having time on my hands. I've never had this much time. So I've been able to watch some documentaries to see people that I've always admired their work or how things worked, but I haven't watched anything that I've been worked on or worked with or was involved in the projects of shows. I haven't watched any of those, but no, I haven't watched any shows. I'm listening to a lot of music. So
That's
as
good.
you can tell earlier, I'm not that computer savvy. So I just play music throughout the day. So that's my world. So I enjoy music.
I think you're doing this completely correctly. I think using this time to do things that you enjoy.
Yeah, that's good.
I think we as an industry, we tend to overwork. It's very rare that we take any time for ourselves. When you come off the road from a tour, you're so worried about the next job that you don't relax and enjoy your time. And then when you're working, you're so busy that you don't get to enjoy your time. I think the fact that we're all in this together to a certain extent, and this is an enforced break for who knows how long, but there should be some kind of, let's try and do the things that you really enjoy doing to make it easier to get through. I worry about coming out of this the other side and turning around to the first person that I speak to and go, oh yeah, I didn't do that. I just don't seem to have the time. I can,
Yeah.
No, that's not happening.
And it's also an extra opportunity to self-consciousness time, isn't it?
As much as some people don't want to do that, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
What documentaries are you watching, Opie? I'm curious.
Well, I watched the Woodstock one that was on a little bit ago. I watched one on Chicago. What other one did I watch? I watched a couple. I'd have to go look and see what I've watched because it's been a while. But yeah, it just kind of bands have been around. Grateful Dead one I watched a little bit ago.
At least you're watching good TV and good documentaries. I'm watching trash TV the whole way.
Yeah.
Are you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What kind of trash TV you watch?
Oh, terrible. Teen soap dramas the whole way. Anything with a vampire in, I'm fine.
I love trashy soap operas.
There's a place for them.
Yes, of course. Tati, tem mais alguma pergunta? No? Oh, that was great.
Actually, I have a question.
Oh, you do? Go ahead.
I do. Tell us about how Sao Paulo is. Obviously, we're very far away. We know how we're coping up here. How are you doing down there?
Well, São Paulo.
Give me 1 minute. I'll be back.
Okay, São Paulo is the biggest city in South America. So I think our government and mayor are handling pretty well with the pandemic.
Yeah,
they've shared with event and with companies ideas for protocols. They got ideas from entrepreneurs in the city.
okay,
And they will start the reopening. They will start a plan for reopening on the 15th. So let's see how it goes, because we better just go and not come back. Oh, Marcelo Mazzari just joined us. Oi, Mazzari. Do you have any question or anything to share?
No, I think you are doing exactly the same as we are doing. That we've now been indoors for a very long time. We don't want to ruin that. We don't want to ruin the good work we've done.
Yeah. How is your city, Opie?
We're good. We're good. I think we started out right, and you know, like everything else, everybody, you know, they opened the door and everybody ran out like they've never been outside before. They're all hanging out. So,
Yeah, it's
but the thing we have here, the benefit we did have in our state is the weather, and people were able to work outdoors. So we're a very outdoor state. So people are working outdoors. They closed the Grand Canyon, and then you know, they just it's been good. I think we've done a good job here. You know, I know there's a lot of cases, but
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, Brazil in general is pretty chaotic, but
Yeah.
São Paulo is kind of, I mean, hopefully we're going to be fine. But there's still a lot of losses and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the time.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. That was great to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry about earlier, everybody. Sorry about my lack of
Fabi, can I
technology.
make a question?
Okay, 1 second. There's one more question. Mas quero com câmera, senão a gente não deixa.
Okay. 1 minute. Okay. I just wanted to ask, everyone says that this is the best time to work on new skills and learn a bit more as we all have time. Is there anything that you guys recommend to do? I know it takes a lot to be a production manager, but is there anything that you recommend that's really interesting to know about? I don't know. I do have some experience already, but I want to expand even more. I'm doing AutoCAD right now, but I don't know if there's anything else. Please let me know. Thank you.
I've been working on my Excel, learning more about how to do my Excel.
Nice.
I'll have to figure out how to figure out my Zoom now again, because just building yourself up sheets or things, how you want to present things to people. I refiled all my stuff in the sense of putting myself in categories of how I'd like to advance a show and make it better. So yeah, I haven't been doing my AutoCAD like I should be, but I've been doing other things. Working on me personally, I'm working on small things like we were talking about of tours, that how they're going to be a smaller version, and putting numbers together on my end, and taking what I did in my past with smaller shows and implement them into the bigger shows to bring them down in size and cost economically. But AutoCAD's good. I'm embarrassed myself now. I need to get on that. But
it's very hard at the moment, obviously, to get practical experience. But there is a world of content out there at the moment. There are a lot of people putting out informational webinars, a lot of people sharing online templates and different documents that they use. I'm trying to upskill myself. I thought I was quite good at Excel, but I'm realizing that it does a whole world of stuff that I never even knew it did.
Yeah.
So trying to retrain in regard to that, but also updating my templates, making sure they're better. Looking back at the work that I've done before and trying to think of, would there have been a better way to do that? Would a different document have helped? But really cleaning out my inbox and my files more than anything else, so that you're ready, ready to go. Clean. Yeah. But there is a wealth of content out there online. There's a lot of people putting out informational webinars and discussions and talks. Some are better than others, but they're great to tune into just to get an idea of what's happening out there.
Is there any page that you recommend checking on?
The Event Safety Alliance puts out a lot of webinars, and they have links to a lot of places. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much.
That would be my recommendation.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Camila Licciardi, this is not a question, but I would like to emphasize the importance of your work. My first show was an AC/DC in São Paulo, the one who wanted to take the bell away. And seeing that production, I was sure I wanted to work with show business. So thank you so much. So you are creating monsters, okay?
There you go. Good.
Ok. Mais alguma pergunta?
Fabi, can I do a question?
Claro.
Yeah.
Com vídeo.
Okay, I'm here. Hi.
Quem tiver com o microfone aberto, pode fechar, por favor, que acho que está vazando alguma coisa.
Okay. It's not really a question. I just like we are kind of the life, so I would ask if you have some good story to tell us, because you work with big rock stars. So if you just can tell us a story about your work, something like that.
I'm sorry, it cut out just towards the middle there.
Acho que deu uma cortadinha, Gabriele. Pode falar de novo, por favor.
So it's not like a question about the pandemic. It's just like a curiosity about your work. So you work with a big rock star. So I just want to know a story you can tell us about this, about the tour, something funny or something that is really memorable. I don't know. That's really something for you.
Well, my memorable things are this, okay, and it's not there. You know, there's a lot of funny stuff that goes on, and our memorable thing is always to get the call back when somebody calls us back, and when they personally call you and ask you to come back. They're just like people too, which is a great thing. Most of the people all the people we've worked with have great sensitivity to regular life, and they enjoy what they do, and we have a good time touring with them. So, but the big thing is, just getting that phone call. I mean, I got a good one. Here's one. We were sitting in Bogota, Debbie and I was doing 2 tours at once. Guns N' Roses, or I was doing actually 3. AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, and Rolling Stones. And it was right while we were there. And we were sitting on a street cafe, right? Sushi bar.
Sushi restaurant.
Having sushi, and my phone rang, and it was Axel. And Axel called, hadn't talked to him in a while, and he called to see if he could help out AC/DC when Brian got sick. And so that, I mean, the stuff like that's the stuff, that I'm proud of, and we're proud of, and then being able to call Angus after that and go, hey, I got a call from Axel. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. So that's when they bonded their relationship. So I had a big part of that, was able to do that, so that was me connecting the two.
That's great.
The sushi in Bogota wasn't that memorable, but that conversation was.
Yes. Yeah. Things like that happen, where you get a call from our bosses, and they're very kind, and even now, some of them have reached out. They're the funny ones. Like you've seen them. I worked with Ozzy, and he's a comedian. He's full on. Like when they did the Osbournes, and he fell over in the bathroom, and he yelled at us all because we had bubbles. And the humor of Ozzy is on and on and on. So his is open. He's an open book. His humor is just out there, and all of them, all of them. I've had the honor to work with some great people, and all strong personalities, and they all have a good sense of humor. So, there's been some things, that go wrong on a show, but our job is not to let them know. If they don't, we fix it. It happens quick enough, like when in Mexico, when we broke the foot pedals on the piano, and we had to roll out the other one. So it's, because people weren't paying attention. So, there's some funny stuff. There is some funny stuff, but some of it I can't talk about. But the good stuff is that all the people I worked with from top to bottom, from when I started as a backline guy to now, they all, there's a good portion of them I keep in touch with them. To the point of even like now, I made that point, like Debbie said, I wish I would have done that, once we get back to work. I made personal calls and texts to people that I haven't seen in 40 years. And I found them, searched them out, and reached out to them and said, hey, how you doing? And why not, right? They're people too, and I know their numbers, so why not?
That's great.
No, but it's good. I mean, and the point is, with the most memorable part of working in this business is being a repeater and getting that call back from your boss that was your boss, and the honor of calling. You know, our home phone rang and it had caller ID and it's Brian Johnson and it says Brian Johnson. You know, he doesn't care. You know, he's just a good guy. He's a good guy. You know, where he doesn't worry about caller ID. Hey, it's Brian. I'm calling. What's going up, my son? You know, it's I had a call from Prince once that said, "Hey, you want to be my promoter?" And I said, no, that's not what I do. You know, that's somebody else's book. You know, and he said to me, "I like that." I go, that ain't for me. And Prince was a good guy. And no matter what anyone wants to say, him and I were solid. I believe we were solid. He's a really talented man, and he's an artist, and there was some funny stuff that he did to me, like he talked to somebody and then they talked to that person and then they talked to me while we're standing there together. So he would talk to you and then you told me what he said. And there were days that he'd call me into his room and have me sit down and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you about AC/DC. I want to talk to you about these people." He did his homework on people. He looked up and researched people that worked for him, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much I wore a suit jacket during the show. And
really?
Yeah. I never got fired.
Do you have a picture?
Yes, I do. It's somewhere, but I have a picture. Lizzie took it.
That's
I think
great.
Lizzie
Let's make an album.
Yeah. But just working with the people we work with, it's just so good to, you know, the kindness that they do share. And I've been blessed with the people I've worked with. They toured longer. Most of them toured longer than I ever will. So it's good. It's good. It was a summer job, and it became a career 40 years ago this year. So I can't complain, and I don't mind the time off.
Good.
Yeah.
There are a couple questions here. Mina Shimazumi. I was at the Rolling Stones concert in 2016, and I remember it was raining a lot. I don't have experience in show business, but I want to know, how do you deal in a raining day or when you have a crisis to manage? Do you have any tips to share?
What city?
Well, let's take São Paulo.
Let's start with being prepared first.
Yes, being prepared.
Every time we go out on a leg of a tour, the information we send out to our guys always involves, it may rain for an outdoor leg. Bring extra socks, extra rain gear. Yeah, nothing worse than being in wet socks all day.
Yeah, being prepared, and same with the technical problem. Where I can't remember what city it was. Could have been, I think it was Rio, when the screens shut down left and right, and when I went to talk to Mick, it wasn't, and the guys I talked to him, and it wasn't like, when's it going to be fixed? It's going to be fixed, right? And you say, yeah, and they go, well, we'll see you in 15 minutes, and they come, and we knocked it out, put it up, and it worked. It's basically the team you surround yourself and the capabilities that they can do, and being prepared and having the parts ready, and being you try not to let the artist ever see something happen. Like I said about the piano that's like snapped off right before as we rolled it out to Axel. It was within minutes the other piano was in place and it was there ready to go.
I think we plan for every contingency that we can think of. And obviously, the longer that you're in the business, the more things have gone wrong. So the more things you plan for going wrong in the future. But I think it's how you deal with that one bit that you don't know about. I think that either makes you very good and it keeps you in the industry because you thrive off that pressure and that stress, or if you don't enjoy it, then this isn't the job for you or the industry for you.
Indeed.
This is the same with the wet weather. The first time it happens to you and you get soaking wet and you're cold and miserable and it's awful, if you don't bounce back by the next day, it's not the right industry for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll have better skills for sanitation things.
Yeah. Yeah. And being prepared is the whole thing for all of us for these shows. And I forgot there was something I was going to say about that. But yeah.
But we do it all the time on a run. You know, there'll be the places we know are going to be wet. There are going to be the places that we know are going to be very hot. We obviously in our roles try to make our guys as comfortable and the artists as comfortable, everybody as comfortable as they possibly can be.
Yeah.
We give everybody as much heads up about this as possible. You know, bring your sunscreen, drink more water. But then I think it's also a lot of keeping spirits up amongst the team, and keeping those smiles up. That's the bit that gets you through.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one more, I think. Get to sleep whenever you have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You take care of yourself, and it's more and more these days. You need to take care of your health. You need to take
Feed
care
yourself.
of all that.
Yeah.
If you want to continue in the industry, it's something you need to do. You know, prepare. I mean, back to what the gal asked earlier about preparing for what to be ready for. When I talk to all my guys, basically all of them are training to be ready. They're all doing their physical activities. They're all running still. They're all going to, you know, they've all created gyms at their home. They're, you know, I walk 5 miles a day, every day, no matter what. It's like I get out of the house, even though it's getting hot here. And it's right, doing the same thing as what we're saying, prepare for when this comes back. Because when it comes back, you're going to work and you don't want to be sloppy or unhealthy or not. You need to be, you know,
or out of practice,
you know, and just communicating. Like if you go into a mute stage, our job is completely communication. Debbie and I, we don't talk maybe on the weekend, but we talk Monday through Friday, every day. Just and it's work, it's this or that, just catching up. But we keep a common practice and friends that we do in the business, we keep communicating so that you can lose that touch. You can lose that touch, you know, of just basic communication skills.
But ultimately, those rainy days, those almost disasters that we inadvertently catch, are what keep the job interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. There's one more question from Roger Souza. I'll just speak in Portuguese for a minute.
Yeah.
O Roger vai estar com a gente na próxima segunda. A gente vai falar de novos parâmetros em turnês. Vai estar ele, a Ingrid Berger e a Juliana Foster. Vai ser bem divertido. His question is, do you guys see any concerts happening in 2020?
Can we just say hello to our friend Roger too?
Yes.
Roger is a friend.
Hey, Roger.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
We talk about this very often, that this is one of those times in life where nobody has any answers. There's nobody to go to. There's nobody who's got any more information than anybody else. In fact, there's never been a time like this before. Usually there's somebody that you can seek out who has some kind of information. This is a daily changing landscape. Like I say, when I wake up in the morning, I get my hopes up. By the time I go to bed, I've been through a roller coaster ride of emotions. I think larger promoters are right to be concentrating on next year, because that's something that we can possibly plan for. I would love to think there were going to be shows this year at some point. I'm hoping, but
Nobody
who knows?
Yeah.
No one knows. And I think we're all waiting for a sporting event to do an event with people in it, to set up something up, to build some guidelines around, and have it orchestrated somehow. Get someone to make some mistakes, or somebody decides to just go out. you know, where a promoter allows it, you know, as you do down there, we do up here. There are states that are opening up things that you're going, really? Texas, what they open up? Baseball, they're going to allow 25% of the people in now. That was what was announced. And I was like, okay. So that's where you get your hopes up in the morning. And then by the end of the night, it says, well, they're thinking about not doing it, you know? So there's all these different things you hear in the morning. And by the time nighttime comes, it's a different story. It's something that definitely we're not prepared for. So that's why we're just preparing to be ready for when we do get to go.
That's good.
I guess.
Yeah, it's just we just jumped in guessing time.
Yeah. So meanwhile, I'm just having fun. I got my godkids over and my dog's going bananas, and yeah.
That's
so,
it.
Yeah.
Ok.
So,
Quem quiser abrir o microfone para dar tchau aí, if everybody wants to open their mic to say hello, mics and cameras. We have very few people here, but we have a bunch of people there on YouTube as well. Querem dar alô aí, galera?
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye now.
So thank you so much, Debbie. Thank you so much, Opie. That was great.
We
to
look
have you
forward to
guys
our
here.
next visit to Sao Paulo. We hope it's soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon. Yes.
Oh, there's Leandro there. Good to see you. Thank you so much, and take care.
All right.
Thank you.
Use your mask.
Bye.
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 Bye.